Space is a hell of a thing, but you need to be sure that this is what you want. Like what you really want. The idea of space exploration to further the frontiers of mankind is noble, but let's not kid ourselves. It's really all about furthering the profit margins. There's money to be made, and out there is the place to make it. But you hear all kinds of stories. Equipment malfunctions, strange discoveries, crew members going insane. You'll be out there in the reaches alone for months or years, breathing recycled air and drinking recycled water, with nothing but a few feet of metal and shielding between you and certain death. Are you sure this is what you want? Crew orientation briefing. Those Dark Places is a rules-light, story-focused role-playing game about the darkest side of space exploration and the people who travel the stars in claustrophobic, dangerous conditions. Starships, stations and outposts aren't havens of safety with clean, brightly lit corridors. They're potential death traps funded by budget-conscious corporate interests and running on stale recycled air and water. The stars may be the future of humanity, but they are also home to horrors and terror the human mind cannot comprehend. So that's the blurb on the back of the book. And this is the book in question. Those Dark Places by Jonathan Hicks. Lovely little book, I have to say, by the way. Nice hardback. And obviously that was the blurb I read there to you. But the book itself, wow. Let's see if we can get some perspective on here. So we have a space helmet as the cover. And in the reflection is obviously something scary coming towards whoever's wearing this. And if we open up the book, you'll see nice glossy pages. It's really good. It's well laid out, I have to say. Contents page. There's a very like a monochromatic kind of color scheme throughout the pages. So we have the space helmet and a ship's cat. So you can see already where this game might draw comparisons to and inspiration from, and it will even mention it in the introduction. Yeah, of course, Aliens is an Alien is one of the inspirations for this game. Other films such as Outland, Silent Running, and Moon, and video games like Alien Isolation and Dead Space. So you kind of get the idea. But you see this monochromatic kind of colour scheme, and it works. It works well for this because this game, it's not all about, like it says, it's not all about brightly lit corridors and high-tech equipment, and it is claustrophobic, it's gritty, it's dark, it's industrial machinery that, you know, doesn't always work well. Recycled air, recycled water, that kind of thing. As it says, it is rules light. You can probably see this from the two sections of the character sheet here. And what I like about this game as a role-playing game is it's one of those that gives you sort of points to spend on your attributes rather than rolling dice for your attributes like in, say, D&D. You get the points to spend. Similar in a similar vein to like the vampire werewolf storytelling games of old. This is kind of like that, but it is a rules-light game, which means that there is more storytelling and role-playing to be had, which is really good. So yeah, you know, I love all this. You got the crew positions; it tells you all about it. The combat and damage and other stuff. It's rules-light. It's very simple, and you know, you could add to that, I suppose. It's very much akin to the Aliens role-playing game because they got some fantastic stuff for that. This is very similar to that. If you want a more simplified version of that and just have a quick role-playing session, but you can have some fantastic campaigns for this. I can see that already from just reading this book over. And you know, so well done to Jonathan Hicks for this, and Osprey Games. Thank you. I hope there is going to be some additions to this in the future. I would love to think so. If there is already, please let me know in the comments, you know, where I can find them. I know you can get a PDF adventure for this. I prefer the hardback stuff, and I'll always opt for that if there's a choice. And of course, you know, I suppose I can make my own adventures for that. I do fully intend to go using this as a solo mechanic now for my solo role-playing endeavours, and I think this will work well, possibly even better than Aliens, because Aliens does have the complexity of hidden agendas, and when I can find a way of doing that in a solo mechanic for characters and NPCs and things, when I can find a way of doing that, and I will find a way, there's always a way. You know, once I've got that, I'll be running the heck out of that in a solo capacity. I mean, solo role-playing games, and this really we're dancing around the edges of another video topic, really talking about solo, but it's becoming more popular now, more so than ever. Since lockdown began, players like myself were forced, if they want to play the game, they're gonna have to play solo, or not at all. So it has forced a whole new level of, I would say, awesomeness when it comes to solo role-playing mechanics, because a lot of stuff has come out of the woodwork now, and people are saying, what about this? Have you tried that? Have you tried this? As you know, you've got the Mythic Fate chart, you've got these cards by you know, various places, and you've got all sorts of different oracles and different other things you can use, codexes for science fiction and fantasy and goodness knows what else. You can use whole decks of cards for helping decision making, for your stories, for your NPCs, and so on. So that aside, that's what I'm going to be using this for. If I ever can get my role-playing group together again, this would be one of them. This and Aliens, I love it, and of course D&D, that goes without saying. But you know, it's one of those things. I would be saying to them, look, should we let's try this. You know, it's the sort of thing you could try in one session in an evening. Simple rules to explain, no problem at all. You can make a character in minutes and you're good to go. You really are good to go. So yeah, that's what I would do. But as a role-playing game, Those Dark Places really is industrial science fiction role-playing at its best, I would say. Thank you so much for this. Great product, love it. Thumbs up from me. If anybody knows of any other expansions or add-ons, adventures, or further rules to this, please hit me up in the comments below, and I'll be all over it. I will be all over it. But I highly recommend this to anybody that's into role-playing and science fiction. Those Dark Places by Jonathan Hicks. Thanks ever so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up if you like it, and if you dislike it, just give it a thumbs down. That's fine as well. If you really want to help me out, check out my Patreon campaign, link on my home page, and if you do become a patron, you will gain access to exclusive videos. I am seriously thinking of putting a specialized RPG section into my Patreon, into one of the higher tiers of my exclusive videos. So, you know, think on that, see what's there available now and have a look. But in the meantime, check this out. Jonathan Hicks, Those Dark Places, cracking book. I love it. I can't wait to get going on it. And yeah, so until the next time, guys, remember, all brushes lead to war, and bye for now. Bye bye.